Welcome back, everybody. In this video, I will show you how to solve these problems using Minitab. So if you recall from the previous video in chapter 7, we looked at this problem and we looked at how to solve it by hand. Now, how do we use the software to solve this problem? Well, the steps that we have taken, first, you do recall the problem we solved, and looking at this problem, we notice what we are asked to find is the probability that x bar is greater than or equals to 4.1. Now, the first thing we need to do is convert these to find the z value of this, the z equivalent of this. So what's the z-score? And for these, we need to know, we need n, we need mu, and we need sigma. Now, if we scroll a bit forward, so I already showed you how to solve for z. So we have here that z is equals to x bar minus mu divided by sigma over square root of n. Now, square root n is 100, so square root of 100 is 10. And so basically, this is 4.1 minus 4, that is 0.1, and you multiply that by 100, okay? So you multiply that by 10, sorry, so square root of 100 is 10, so 10 times 0.1 gives you 1. So we did that in the previous video. So now that we have z, what we want to find is, so now we have standardized, so this sampling distribution is our standardized distribution from our, and here we know that we want to find the probability that z is greater than 1. Now, the mean here is 0 and the standard deviation is 1. So when we standardize, we have this is the standardized distribution. So our mean is 0 and the standard deviation is 1. Again, we looked at this, I think, in chapter 6. So let's bring up Minitab. So in Minitab, how do you solve for that? You click on graph, then probability distribution plots, and then you click on view probability, and then you click OK. And since we are having a standard normal distribution, the mean should be left at 0, the standard deviation should be set at 1, and then you click on shaded area. Now we are trying to find the area to the right of 1. So how do we do that? First, you click on x value because we are using the z value. So the x here will represent the z value, and we want the right tail. So we're looking for the area to the right of the z value of 1. And then you click OK. And I love Minitab because it gives you this visual representation that you see. And so we can see here that the area of interest is 0.1587. So that's the area here. That's about 15.87%. Okay. All right. Now let's go back to the Word document. What was our solution? So when we did that, so we're looking for this area, and we used the standard normal distribution table. What we got is the same thing, 0.1587. So that's how you can use the table, or you can use Minitab. Now, some of you have asked questions like, what if we want to enter the values directly in Minitab without computing the z value? How do we go about it? Now, I do not recommend you going that route. However, if you want to do that, now for your standard deviation, you will be entering 1 divided by the square root of 100, and you'll not be entering 1. That's that's what you should take into consideration here. So what I'm saying here is this. So taking this back here, we know that the standard deviation is 1. However, you'll be entering the standard error, which is sigma divided by the square root of n. That's what you're going to enter for. So what I'm saying in essence is that so let me bring up let's travel to Minitab again. So in Minitab here, let's bring back the last operations. So you can click on, you can type in Control E or just press this. And so the standard deviation will be what's 0.1 this time around. And what's the mean? So let's check again. So we enter the right value. What's the mean? The mean mu is 4. So 4 and 0.1. Now you click on shaded area, and this time around, we're also looking at the right. But what are we looking at? To the right of 4, as in the area greater than or equals to 4.1. So this time around, you're entering X bar and not Z. So you enter 4.1. Since we're not dealing with the standard normal distribution, once you change this from 0 and 1, now we're not dealing with the standard normal distribution. And you click OK here, you get the same answer. So using Minitab, you don't necessarily have to compute the Z value first. However, you have to ensure that you are entering the right standard deviation, which in this case is the standard error. That's the only thing you have to take into consideration. I recommend that you go through the route of computing the Z value, but I just wanted to answer the question as well, so you can see that, yes, you can actually go directly since you're using a tool like Minitab. It makes it easy. Okay, so that's how to solve that particular problem. Let's look at another problem we actually solved in the class. Let me see the next one. So here in this question, we have what is the probability that the mean of a sample of n is equals to 100 fries is less than 3.85? Again, like I said, I recommend that you find the Z value, and that way you're using the standard normal distribution to find the area. So we computed the Z value in the previous video, and what we got for Z is 1.50. Now we're looking, what's the area of interest? The probability that Z is less than minus 1.5. So how do we do that in Minitab? So we bring back Minitab. And let's bring back the last operation. But this time around, change the mean to 0. And the standard deviation to 1. So now this is a standard normal distribution, and we're looking at the left tail this time around, and we change this to negative 1.5. That's the Z value. And you press enter, and there you have it. The area is 0.06681, which is about what? 6.7%. Okay. Yeah. So, and remember in class we got 0.0668 using the normal distribution table. So as you can see, let's see, that was 0.0668 was what we got using the table, and it's the same answer using Minitab. Now, whichever tool comes easier to you is what I recommend. Some students find it faster looking at the table, and some find it faster using a tool like Minitab. So whichever one is comfortable for you, that you feel okay with, is what you use for your assessment. Other than that, I hope you now have a better understanding of how to compute the probabilities from the normal distribution. All right. I think we have one more example before we end this video. So we are looking at sampling distribution of a proportion, and I gave us one example. Let's go right there, right to it. Okay, that's the problem. So yeah, we again just jumping straight to what we're trying to find, the probability that p hat is less than or equals to 0.48. Again, I recommend that you find the z value and then you use the standard normal distribution in order to find the area under the curve. All right. So if you recall, we got that the z is what? We got that z is equals to 0.48. So which is basically p hat minus p. No. So we have to find the probability that p hat is less than or equals to 0.48. However, to solve for that, we first start by finding z. So z is p hat minus p over the standard error, and that will be 0.48 minus 0.6 divided by the standard error, which we have computed right here as 0.155. And that gives us a z value of negative 0.77. That way, now we know that what we are looking for is the probability that z is less than what? Negative 0.77. Once again, we bring up Minitab and go back to the last operation. And again, since we're in the z distribution, the mean is 0, standard deviation is 1. Shaded area, this time around, we're back to the left. And oh, we are still on the left. And now the z value is negative 0.77. And you press OK. And there we have it. It's this area, the shaded area, is 0.2206. And that's exactly what we got from the standard normal distribution table. Yeah, so we got 0.2206, which is exactly what we have gotten using Minitab. So with this, you should now have a good understanding of how to use Minitab to tackle the problems in this chapter on sampling distribution. Have a wonderful rest of your day.